We have just arrived in Los Angeles and we're spending the next couple days living with this car, the Lotus Emira. It's a bit of a gloomy day today, but it's definitely improved by this very bright yellow Lotus. This thing looks so good. We have to get off to an event, so we need to get back on the road. About an hour and a half left of the drive, and take a look at that. Manual transmission. Clutch in, flip this up. We've got this car's predecessor right there, Lotus Evora. Some initial thoughts after driving about 2 hours on the freeway. This is pretty comfortable, not too noisy, and even in 6th gear, has some decent passing power, so the engine makes pretty good torque. I like it. I'm really liking this car a lot. We just wrapped up our event. It's getting late, sun is setting, and we have about a 2.5 hour drive for our overnight stay tonight, so I probably won't be doing much more filming tonight. We'll pick this back up tomorrow, but quick glimpse at the interior of the Emira at night. The trunk is a little small, I'll show that later on. So I've got my duffel bag and backpack in the passenger seat. CarPlay pulls up there. We have lighted cup holders. That's a nice little touch there. My leftover Starbucks cup. Start stop button lights up. Manual shifter, a little bit of lighting. And also, I'll tease that. I'll show that more later. It's really cool. Digital cluster. All right, we're gonna hit the road and get to driving in the Emira. Good morning. Yesterday we were out testing some other cars, but I did get to drive the Lotus for about 5 hours and really get to know the car. But today we're spending all day driving the Lotus Emira and I am so excited. Now that we have a bit more time, let's take a look at the exterior. I think this car is absolutely gorgeous. When it was first announced, I was just blown away. I think it looks so good. It's like a baby supercar. Actually, I think it looks better than some actual full-out supercars. The proportions, the curves, man, it just looks so amazing. So very clearly mid-engine proportions. Cabin up here. Up front is probably my favorite angle. Like, look at this thing. You see a lot of inspiration from the Avaya, the all-electric hypercar. But for this segment, I think this is just so good looking. I love the DRLs up front. These are also functional, right? They're styling and also functional for extracting air. This yellow looks very, very nice. It looks good in all the colors. The curves, the sportiness. I think this wheel design looks really nice too. Intake on the side here. One side is for actual engine intake. Other side I think is for cooling. This one is actually an Emira First Edition. So you see the little badge there. The door handles also, you kind of do this and they pop out like that. This one doesn't have the black pack. There's like an extended black pack. We can just do the black roof, the black lettering, a bunch of other things get blacked out. But I think on the yellow, it works really well, full body. We got the dual exhaust pipes out here. These are also functional there too. You can see the tire through there, extracting air. Taillights are just, oh man, such a good looking car. I love the proportions, the curves. I think it's just such a sexy and aggressive looking little sports car. Honestly, yeah, like a little baby supercar. One thing though, up front, this does not have a front trunk. No frunk on the Emira. You can't even open this. It's like screw down. If you're at the dealership getting service, I think they, with the right tools, can open it up. But as the owner, you're not supposed to open the front trunk. So practicality is not one of the biggest benefits with the Emira. And go ahead and open the trunk and show you the size back here. So it's a shared engine compartment and trunk. It's decent size. I was able to put my carry-on suitcase in here, but that's pretty much it. So no front trunk. We do have that Lotus V6, which again is the Camry V6. They also have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder AMG available. And that little bypass valve thing on the supercharger, you can see it through the rear glass. I'll show you when we're in the car driving. It is such a cool thing. And the engine just right behind your head. Pretty compact there. Love it. I personally never loved the way the Evora looked. I like the Elise and Exige, but this car, the Emira, honestly, it came out, I was like, this looks like a baby version of the Avaya, which I also think is one of the coolest styled hypercars out there. And I was like, oh man, if it also drives as well as it looks, that's dangerous for me, because I love when the styling comes together like this. Such a good looking car. Just can't get over the front end. Look at that. Look at that. So cool. One small criticism, I don't love the brown interior option on this yellow exterior. I think this brown would go well with the either dark green or maybe a blue on the outside. For this yellow, I would have gone with the black with yellow stitching, but this interior is nice. We'll do a more in-depth tour of that too. I would spec this yellow. I would just do a different interior, or I would do green over this saddle brown leather. So I've been a little afraid to drive the Lotus Emira because I am very worried that I'm gonna like it so much that I'll want to buy one. And after driving it for about an hour, I was like, uh-oh, I really, really want this car. Manual, small, nimble, I mean, the last of an era, hydraulic steering, and it's really, really starting to win me over. I mean, from outside, the styling, the updated interior, the tech, and what I know about Lotus really already spoke to me, and now actually being in the car and spending time with it, everything has been confirmed. To really get the test of it today, we're gonna go hit some canyon roads, find some nice curvy roads out here in Southern California to properly drive the Lotus, do the full review. I'm gonna bring my friend Matt with me too. He's a huge enthusiast too. He's got old Porsche in there, BMW 1M, races all the time too. So get his opinion, see how he thinks about the Lotus Emira. He was really excited last night when I pulled in, drooling over the car, goes, this is my next car. I'm like, I want one too, let's go halvesies, right? It's a good sign when a car like the Emira can provoke that kind of response. Just look at this front end, man. That looks so good. All right, I gotta organize the interior a bit. Got a little gravel driveway, so sorry if my steps are slightly noisy. And we'll be heading out for a drive today. Yeah, look at that. The shifter linkage, you can see it. We gotta show you that at night too, because that lights up. So that shifter linkage goes down in there and they expose it. That's so cool. Cold start from inside, clutch in, and neutral, this little cover, you flip it up, but it doesn't stay up on its own. You see it kind of drops down. Flip that up. Warm up a bit, you see the red line is much lower, just over 4,500 RPM. Toyota V6 sounds pretty good. Ah, you see the tail lights. Look at that shape, it's a little like swoosh. So cool. You ready, Matt?
I am ready.
For the Lotus Emira, let's go. Yeah, so there's a pretty large little storage thing in the door. You can fit the long water bottle. Matt's got his on the other side. And a good old manual. This whole metal shifter ball is really nice too. The collar here you pull up for reverse. It's got a decently long throw. Much more mechanical feel than some of the Porsche ones that are a little more buttery, but I like it. It gives you this little tactile feel of like, yep, first gear, second, third, makes you a little more deliberate with it. I like it. And there's that 10.25 inch infotainment screen, which does have CarPlay, so I think my phone should have connected. Did I not set up wireless CarPlay? I can plug it in. Android Auto, performance, shows your G-forces. I am also amused. Tire pressure is good. Tire spelled with a Y because British car, obviously, right? They have to. But it's nice. It's simple, nothing crazy fancy over the top, but it works. And it's a huge upgrade from something like the Lotus Elise, which is hilariously bad. And the full digital cluster here, that is a 12.3 inch screen, and also change when you go through your drive mode. So this is Tour, but if we go down into Sport, the exhaust valve just open too, and then Track. Oh yeah, the idle raise slightly, and you see the tachometer goes across the middle there. Your gear indicator is gonna be primary. Oh, it's not showing because I'm not letting in the gear, but we'll show that later. But this is Matt. Matt, welcome to YouTube. Everybody. Yes, I called you a cup car driver earlier. You've been upgraded now. You raised Porsche Boxster spec, right?
Boxster spec.
Yeah, which sounds like a ton of fun.
It's a really ridiculous competitive class.
Yeah.
I recommend it to anybody.
Okay.
Who's thinking about club racing. Yeah.
But because you're a Porsche guy, right? You love Porsches.
Just love Porsches.
And now we're in a Lotus.
Love Lotuses too.
Yes.
Got to visit the factory a few years ago and a little spin around the track.
Yeah.
Which was incredible. They are a true bunch of car guys and car people that work there. And
this car feels it when having driven it. Like it was designed by drivers for drivers. It says it on the key. I'll show the key fob later. The key fob's really cool.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions of the Emira?
Interior is a major upgrade over the previous cars. So you're missing that I mean, it still has a pretty big sill here, but not that massive sill. It's more like a regular sports car, sort of getting in and out of it. But just beautiful touches, like this exposed gear linkage here, and
so
this little
cool.
start button thing is.
The leather
really
is nice too, and I'm comfortable. 6'3", I've got plenty of headroom. I could wear a helmet in this absolutely without a doubt.
It's clearly a helmet car.
Yeah, it's got the little indent up here. Yeah. So Everything's been nice. And now we're gonna take it for a drive and you'll get more thoughts. More thoughts. All right, we're gonna head off. Where are we going? Somewhere canyon, somewhere. Malibu?
Canyon.
Malibu. All right, we'll pick this back up in a moment. All right, so we have done 260 miles, averaging 23.7 mpg. Low fuel warning came up, 45 miles empty. So let's see how big the tank is on the Emira. Pop that open. 629, and it's not even 93. So just under 13 gallons, so it's probably a 14 or 15 gallon total. 45 miles empty. And it does have a capless fuel filler, which is nice. Very vertical. No, I don't want pizza. Definitely not gas station pizza. All right, off we go. Look at the view. Driving along the coast. Heading down to Malibu, we're gonna grab lunch and then go hit some canyons.
Racetrack is probably amazing. Look at this. I think this car's made for this road.
I would wholeheartedly agree.
Nice. Oh, the brakes.
Pretty good. I think actually AP Racing supplies these.
Really?
Yeah. With the supercharger you were talking about earlier, right? You have enough kind of mid to low range torque that I'm in third gear right now. I could probably be in second, but it's still enough to pull you out of the corners or on the freeway, right? Even in sixth gear, oh, a little bit understeer right there, you can roll on to pass somebody without having to downshift.
Yep.
This is how we sell Matt Haitley on a Lotus Emira.
Let's see.
Let's see how it does.
If Porsche guy ends up loving the Lotus. I do have a soft spot for Lotuses.
Yes.
It feels like a very forgiving car. I say that with some trepidation.
3 turns in.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to use, very, very linear. And like the car's not getting unsettled. Which I know I've said that a couple of times, but just this, this is the kind of road that rocks you and bumps you all over the place. Really fun. This car is, I love this car.
Look at some of those houses.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, we'll pick this back up in a bit after we finish up at the canyons. I still owe you guys a really in-depth interior tour. I love checking out this car in context with regular traffic, right? Looks so good, even more exotic and sporty. For a, call it $100,000 little sports car, this thing looks like a proper supercar. It looks the part. You park this next to a McLaren, a Ferrari, Lamborghini, it would absolutely fit in. The curves, the proportions, little details, it has no bad angle either. Like, this car is awesome. And the key too, check out the key. It's really high quality. It's got the Lotus logo here. We got lock, unlock, the trunk button, and on the side, show it on this side, it says, for the drivers, and that is 100% an accurate statement. All right, we have our burgers and meat. You're not gonna want to put that in the trunk, okay, because the engine is there, and then it becomes hot, and so you're gonna have to hold it in the cabin. So that is one downside that's not very practical for transporting your groceries. Well, that's okay.
Oh my God, I never thought of that.
Yeah. Any mid-engine car, same thing with my Corvette. That back trunk gets so warm. Everything would melt.
Does it melt your deodorant?
I had one of those like massage bar things.
Yep.
And it melted in my bag, and that was not a good time.
No.
And it was not a good time. My girlfriend was not happy. All right, we are back from the canyon. So let's take a proper interior tour of the Lotus. So I've got the trunk / engine compartment open here. You see that V6. There's the rear trunk space. I got my backpack in there. You can fit a small carry-on, maybe 1.5. It's not the most spacious one, and because it does share the engine compartment area, it will get warm. Go ahead and close that. Let's check out the inside. So, the materials, such a big step up. Look at that leather. This is like the brown tan leather interior. I would have done the black with the yellow. You can also get Alcantara. This would work really well with a green or blue exterior, but you cannot fault the material quality here. Massive step up. We have Lotus there on the seat, and then if we fold this up, I'll show you that back luggage shelf again. It's decent sized space. Put a backpack, a little duffel bag. Let's hop inside. Yeah, check that out. That's really cool. That's a nice touch. Go ahead and start the car. So let's start with the digital driver cluster. It's a 12.3-inch screen here, and you interface with that center menu using the touchpad buttons here on the right side of the steering wheel. You can swipe up and down, left and right. So you can see that's going up, down, left and right. Or the outer side has buttons that you can press to go up, down, forward, and back, right? Left, left. If I want to go check out the different trip computers. There's like the menu thing, volume up, volume down. We have the black Lotus logo here. Emira, that's really, I like their text here. The stylized Emira is such a cool touch. On the left side here, interfaces with the left side on the screen, which is, I believe, like the cruise control or speed limiter, things like that. And then this changes too. If I go into sport, it updates to a kind of red theme, and then track changes even more. So you see traction control turned off, ESC is in track, tachometer goes across in the middle, and your gear selector goes into the middle. First, no, it's not pulling up because I am in a driveway. There we go, reverse. Just driving back and forth, I'll just demonstrate this. First gear. It would show in the middle. I'm in the driveway now. I'm trying not to drive over off the driveway, but that's the gear indicator in the middle. Tire pressures pull up, and the right side you can still go through the menu using the screen. So that's track mode. The center screen also is pretty nice. This is a 10.25-inch infotainment screen. It is touch. It's relatively straightforward in terms of how to interface with it. Here we have just a little widgets. Not a ton, right? CarPlay, Android Auto, go to tire pressure. It's very, very self-explanatory. Tire pressure, T-Y-R-E, very British, right? Make sure to check tire pressure regularly. Go back home. Go back to the widgets. You can go through these, right? Ooh, we got lap timer. That's pretty cool. On the left here, we can open up our climate control settings. Check it out. He's got a race helmet on because race car. We also have heated seats, but there's no physical buttons, so you have to control those through the actual touchscreen here. But it works well. The graphics are pretty simple. It's clean, it's easy to use. Lap timer, trip statistics, pretty cool. And then coming down, we have actual physical knob for temperature, AC, your climate settings here, little toggles. Drive mode, this is how you toggle up and down your drive mode. So we're in track right now, we go up to tour. All you're changing is powertrain exhaust and stability control. Really, it's like the exhaust down and stability control, maybe a little bit of throttle remapping, and it sequentially goes up. Because this has passive dampers, you're not really doing much in terms of how it rides. Steering, I feel like, stays exactly the same too. And then hazards in the middle, and this is your play, pause, and volume knob too. And then we have that manual shifter, this metal shifter with the collar up. There's reverse. This is machined in, you can feel it. It's nice, stays nice and cool now. Even, it was a pretty hot day. I had it parked in the desert the other day and it did not get overwhelmingly hot. Here's that start stop button with the red cover, but it doesn't stay up. So you can pull it up and it falls down on its own. You have small enough fingers, you could probably press it like that. Yep, I did it. Start it back up again. And yeah, there's the center stack there. We have two cup holders, which I actually was able to fit a coffee in there. I don't know if my big water bottle would fit. Go ahead and test that. Yeah, it fits, but now, like, how am I gonna, there's no way I would be able to ship. This is in the way, so that doesn't work, but that fits in my side pockets there, which is convenient. Now we get to the door panel. So the door handles are up here. Double pull and it unlocks. Window switches, mirror controls, which I think that's stock. I think these are pulled from the Volvo parts bin because the Geely parental relationship. I don't know, I don't recognize this brand KEF for the audio system, but it's got the metal machine grills here, the little triangles, and it sounds pretty good for this cabin space. Another really cool touch, look at the air vent, this little toggle switch there. That says Emira on all of them, so that's a unique touch and a really, really good job to add a bit of premium to the cabin with the little details like that. So I was really impressed by that. We have that brown leather on the door armrest, continues here across the dash. We have that first edition badge there. Nice frameless rear view mirror. And then if we look back there, you see the little bypass valve for the supercharger. can see it move. Pretty cool, even better under load when we're driving. And then we have a surprisingly large storage bin here. As I open it up, it'll fit a lot in there. USB is plugged in there for if you want to run CarPlay or charge your devices. I think that's the majority of the interior. Seat controls, memory seats. I like the floor mats that have a little Emira logo on there too. The door sills also have an Emira logo. And then one of the coolest parts, the shifter linkage that is shown there underneath. And then in front of it, there's actually a little storage space. I've got my sunglasses there too, but that is so cool. At night, I'll show it again later, it lights up. That is so awesome. I am really, really loving the Lotus Emira. Everything about it, the styling, the presence, it attracted a lot of attention. We were down in Malibu, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of people looking. In a car like this, right, which there are cars that are 2 to 3 times the price, 5 times the price, running around Southern California all the time. So the yellow definitely helps, but I think the styling is just so cool. Interior materials are quite nice. It has all the luxury touches that I really would want. Would cooled seats be nice? Absolutely. Ventilated or cooled seats would be a nice touch too, but weight, right? Lotus is still about trying to keep that lightweight feel. This definitely has added a lot with the leather and some more touches, but I will appreciate those creature comforts because it makes it a more well-rounded, usable sports car. And then the driving dynamics. It sounds good. It drives well. The steering is fantastic. It is quick enough. I like the manual feel. Everything about the car, I am really, really enjoying. Let's take a look at the Lotus at night. I wanted to show you guys the interior lighting, especially underneath that shifter linkage. Taillights light up. Let's take a look up front real quick. The DRLs. Just love the shape of this car at night. At all times, actually. The curves, the proportions. It looks so exotic. But check out the interior. Pop open that door handle. Got the screens. Cup holders light up. The start button lights up. And then underneath the shifter, you see the linkage there. Through the mesh, it lights up at night. So you can see that. That's such a cool touch. Here's what it sounds like when you lock the Lotus. Nice little chirp. And I believe the lights should turn off. There we go. All right, good night. Loading the car back up, saying goodbye to friends, and off to the airport. We're leaving LA. Quick trip, but very enjoyable in the Lotus Emira. So I've done 430 miles, averaging 20.6 mpg. That's pretty good given the mix of canyon driving and highway driving. 20.6, I won't complain about that. Let's wrap up some final thoughts on the Lotus Emira after living with it for a couple days. I really, really like this car. A lot of people ask me, would I take this or a Cayman GTS? It's a hard decision. For me, it's gonna be the Lotus because I think the styling and the experience is a bit more on the exotic side. The styling, absolutely. It looks so much better than the Cayman in my opinion. It looks like a little mini supercar. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. In terms of the driving, right? Performance, I think is gonna be close. I think I'll like the Lotus a bit more than the Cayman. The Cayman will be a bit more, what's the way to describe it, like clinical feeling? It still has the emotion, but it's not a GT4, GT4 RS type of feel, right? Whereas this feels like nimble, fun, responsive. It handles very well, but it's still compliant. Really, the downside for Lotus is it's not as practical. You don't have a front trunk, you only have a smaller rear trunk back there, but I'll take it because I think the outside styling looks so cool. Ton of fun with this Lotus Emira. At $105,000 for the supercharged V6 manual, I kind of want one. I kind of really want one. Make sure you also check out my more technical, in-depth review. Did the whole thing in the canyons, driving this, evaluating it, comparing it to some of the other cars. It's gonna be sad saying goodbye to the Lotus Emira. With that, we'll end this vlog living with the Lotus Emira. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.